Hi, welcome to another lecture with me. My name is Kiavash Barini, and in this lecture I'm gonna show you how to download, install, configure, and run MySQL Server Community and MySQL Workbench on a macOS machine using Apple M3 CPU series. So let's get started. As a first step, we can search for MySQL and then go to www.mysql.com, and then on top of this page you can find out several links including downloads. Let's click on downloads, scroll down all the way down to the end of the page, and we can see MySQL Community GPL downloads. Click on these, go to this page, and in the left side you see MySQL Community Server. In the MySQL Community Server, you see select version. At the moment, we see version 9.2.0 innovation, 8.4.4 LTS, and 8.0.41. I have seen some students that they had problems with some of these versions. So first of all, let's get started with the first version or the latest version, that is 9.2.0 innovation. If it works on our Mac OS, that's fine. If it doesn't, then we have to downgrade and then go and install 8.4.4 LTS or 8.0.41 on our Mac OS machine. And then in the operating system list, you can see a lot of operating systems are here, including Mac OS, so we choose Mac OS. And also in the OS version, we can see x86 64-bit, that's for Intel-based CPU Mac OS machines. And we also have ARM 64-bit for Apple M series CPUs. In this machine, I have Apple M3 series CPU. So I'm gonna install this version on my machine. So when we scroll down, we can find out DMG archive, compressed TAR or TAR file, and compressed TAR archive test suite, or simply a TAR file. But I would like to go and download the DMG archive. So I click on download, and then again it asks us to log in or sign up. But we are not interested in logging or sign up at the moment. We say no thanks, just start my download. So I click on this, and then I'm gonna install it. I'm gonna download it to my folder downloads and save. So let's wait for this to complete. Once finished, so we can simply go and click here and then try to open first. Here it is MySQL 9.2.0 Mac OS 15, ARM 64. So let's double click on these, and then it opens this DMG file including the PKG file. So let's double click on this. Alright, first it says that this package will run a program to determine if the software can be installed. Yes, let's click on the allow button, and then here we click on continue. We accept the license agreements for these, so continue. To continue installing the software, you must agree to the terms of the software license agreement. I do agree, so click on agree, and it says that how do you want to install this software? Installed for all users of this computer. Yes, I would like to install it for all users of this computer. So click on continue, and then installation type. I'm not gonna change that. It says that it requires 670.3 megabyte of space on your computer. That's fine. I'm not gonna change any locations. Install, and then it asks me to enter my password for to install this software. So I enter my password and click on install software. And then it says, please enter a password for the root user. The root user is the administrative privilege user. So I'm gonna enter root with the password root. So click root and then start MySQL server once installation is complete. But it says that a reasonable password consists of at least 8 characters. And that are a mix of letters, numbers, and other characters. So it doesn't allow me to enter root similar to the Windows machines. So I'm gonna type root 1, 2, 3, and then because it also requires a mix of letters, numbers, and other characters, so I'm gonna add semicolon. So it is root 1, 2, 3 semicolon, and then I press finish. Again, it asks me for my password on macOS. I'm gonna enter it here, click OK. So it's performing initial database setup at the moment. There we go. And we click on close, and then it says that, would you like to move this downloaded file to trash? Yes, I would like to move it to trash. I don't need it anymore. And I'm not gonna go back to my installation. So it seems that everything was clear. I'm gonna close this window. I'm gonna close this window. Next step is to download and install and also configure MySQL Workbench. So I go to Google and then search for MySQL again. And in the Google search, I can find out download MySQL Workbench. I click on this, download MySQL Workbench. In the select operating system, we can choose Mac OS and then select OS version. So my laptop does not support or does not have Intel CPU, but it has Apple M3 CPU. So I'm gonna use ARM M3 or simply ARM CPU with 64-bit. And then click on download. So and this is a DMG archive file. So let's see. Yeah, I click on download. Again, it comes here and asks me to log in or sign up. I say no thanks, just start my download. And then I'm gonna download it and then save it on my downloads folder and save. So this version has been downloaded, and let's go here, open it, close this window. So this is the window. It says that you just need to drag and drop this into your application folder. So we just drag and drop it into our application folder. Apparently it didn't work this way, so let's do it this way. So I drag and drop the MySQL Workbench into application, and it is trying to copy MySQL Workbench to applications. It takes a few seconds to copy and paste it into applications. Now we have, I think we have done the MySQL Workbench setup. So let's close this window, and then let's go to Launchpad and search for MySQL Workbench. So you see MySQL Workbench has been downloaded and successfully installed here. It says that MySQL Workbench is an app downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes, I'm sure. So let's open it and then maximize it. Let's create a new connection. I press here on the plus button, and then the connection name is connection number 2 using TCP IP standard, and then host name is 123.0.0.1, which is my local host, and the port is 3306. I'm not gonna change that. The username is root, but we also need to have the password for the for this root username. So let's click on the store in keychain. Let's enter, if you remember, we entered root 123 and then semicolon. So I enter root 123 semicolon and press OK. And then first of all, I'm gonna test my connection. So it says that connection warning, incompatible non-standard server version to this. A connection to this database can be established, but some MySQL Workbench features may not work properly since the database is not fully compatible with the supported version of MySQL. MySQL Workbench is developed and tested for MySQL Server version 5.6, 5.7, and 8.0. Please note there may be some incompatible with version 8.4. Alright, let's just continue anyway to see what happens. I'm gonna accept that. It says that successfully made MySQL connection. Okay, and then again press OK. This is connection number 2. So it says that again it shows me the warning about this incompatible version of 9.2.0. So let's continue anyway. Let's see what happens. Alright, so when we try to continue, and we can find out all the information here, we only see that the system database and the system table is here, and there is also just system configuration table here. I don't see any other databases here. So we need to download and also run the query to create the Sakila database on MySQL. So in the next step, I'm gonna show you how and where to download the Sakila database, and then how to include it in your current MySQL Workbench on MySQL Server community on macOS machine. Now let's search for I want to download and install Sakila database on macOS Workbench, on macOS Workbench, macOS MySQL Workbench. That's better. So let's see what happens. So it says that you need to go to MySQL website, download the Sakila database archive, then import Sakila-schema.sql into your MySQL Workbench, and also Sakila-data.sql. So there are two SQL files that we have to download and then import it into our MySQL Workbench. So as a first step, it says that go to MySQL website and navigate to Sakila sample database section and download the archive containing the Sakila schema.sql and Sakila-data.sql. So if we go simply to this page, let's see, Sakila sample database. I click on Sakila sample database. So it says that the Sakila sample database is available from this source. So let's go to this source. Let's see where it is. It says that example databases. We have a lot of databases here. Sakila is one of them. We can download Sakila in the format of a zip file. So let's go and click on the zip file to download Sakila-db on our downloads folder. So we have downloaded this here. Let's go to our downloads folder. Let's delete this one and then right click here. Then let's double click on this. So I have double click on zip file, and let's open it to see. So we have Sakila-data.sql and we have Sakila-schema.sql. We also have Sakila.mwb file. Now that we are in MySQL Workbench, we can go to the server menu and click on data import. It says that import from dump project folder, or we can import from self-contained file. I choose import from self-contained file and then click here on the double dots and then go to my downloads, Sakila-db, and then choose Sakila schema, open it, and then try to start importing and then it says that 1 out of 1 imported. I don't see any error messages here, so there is no problem here. To make sure that this database has been created, I'm gonna refresh here. So you see this icon here, I click on refresh. The Sakila database has been successfully created. So if we open it, if we open the tables, actor, for example, when we double click on these, let's close this window. When we double click on for example, actor table, and then try to click on this icon to see if there is any data here, we see that the metadata have been created, but there is no data for this, for example, table, actor table. Now, what do we need to do? We need to go again to the server menu, data import, import from a self-contained file. Again, go to downloads, Sakila-db, and this time we use sakila-data.sql and press on OK. And then what do we have here? We choose Sakila database and then select import. So it seems that all the data have been successfully imported. I'm gonna close this import page. I'm gonna close that one. So let's refresh again. So now I have refreshed everything. Now I see actor, and if I click on this icon, look, all the data have been imported into MySQL Workbench. So how many records do we have? We do have 200 records, and the last one is Torah temple. Now that you have learned how to connect to MySQL Workbench, how to run it, and also how to import the Sakila database into it, now it's time to go and download Visual Studio Code on the macOS machine, and then write a Java application, a very simple Java application, and connect it to MySQL in order to retrieve data, for example, from the table actor.